Hi, I'm Mac McCarthy, and I help people with their breakups. And I'm back to the office. I'm back on deck here. And the topic today is don't know why I'm talking like that, but the topic today is why do we just remember all the good memories when we break up? When we were together, I was so focused on the bad. So this was a request. Nike One, what's up, buddy? I'm just going to go through these topics really quick. Let me know if you got any questions or you want to chime in on any of these things. But for anyone else out there that's following the live streams, this is how I'm going to go about it. In the beginning of the live streams, I'll go over what I've already written down over here, and then we'll come to what you guys got to say. So welcome, Headwork. Welcome, ARLD. So why do we just remember all the good memories when we break up? And also, this is usually when it's a fresh breakup, right? When it just happened. And like I said, this was a request actually from a friend of mine that's going through a breakup. And we were together, and I was so focused on the bad. So he was saying when we were together, I was so focused on the bad. In his particular case, they've broken up multiple times. So there's been some problems there. But that being said, I'm going to get into this a little bit, but let me just go over these topics. Does loss linger longer than a win? So what I mean by that is anytime you lose, whether that's a ball game, whether that's a family member, whether that's a breakup, whether that's a possession, does the loss linger longer than when you won something or when you got something? It's a really good question, and I'll answer it directly in a minute. What triggers the memories? So if you're going back and forth and you're going like, oh shit, I got these memories that I just can't get rid of. It comes up again and again. Something's triggering that, and it's usually something in your environment. Do all breakups have this cloud of good memories? I'll talk about that. What happens when famous people die? This is an interesting thing to unpack. How do people move on without dwelling so much on the past? Replacements help. So that speaks for itself. Bottom line is if someone's moving on really quickly and they're not dwelling on the past, they usually have a replacement, or they have someone lined up, or they have a few people lined up. And I closed with this statement on the whole topic. If your life isn't where you want it to be in other areas, and I call these buckets, the spiritual bucket, the financial bucket, the family and friends bucket, the significance bucket, which means are you proud of where you are and what you're doing? All these different areas in your life, if they aren't full or half full and they're in a shitty place, well, then the breakup will magnify its loss. It's not by coincidence that many breakups happen when other parts of your life are going shitty. And if other parts of your life are going shitty, what you tend to do is layer everything and go, oh my God, my life's so bad and this is so much worse. So right on, Nike One, for coming on deck as usual. Always welcome. And wind check. Is the wind making a noise in the microphone right now? Is that what you're telling me? Right now, just now. ARLD Gaming, welcome. Memories suck, especially when you have a good memory. Yeah. Always make sure all those buckets are full or almost, because if not, hard to get out of that rut of a breakup. Yeah, I think that's why. What's up, Dylan? I think that's why I put that statement. If I was going to give you one quote on the topic, that makes a lot of sense. And a lot of times the other buckets beyond the breakup, maybe family and friends, we can't really control too. And, keeping those other buckets full isn't always in our control. Your financials can be hit by someone fires you at work without you, you could lose money in the market. There's all kinds of things involved in that. But what I'm saying is when it rains, it pours. But if you're having a lot of fucking trouble remembering all the good things, there was a reason why you broke up. There was a reason why you guys had some issues. And if you were having, in this particular case, he mentions that breaking up, before they broke up, he was focused on all the bad shit. So how is it that he's just in the good stuff right now? So I'm going to unpack some of these questions a little bit further. Is there a little bit of wind? I got a fan running right now. Is that bothering the sound? Does anyone have any? No, because I hear wind check. I don't know what that meant at work. So I'll unpack these individually. And let me know out there if this is a good time frame for you guys, because it's a little different time frame than I'm used to. I'm going to be doing it earlier in the morning. So question number one. Why do we just remember all the good memories when we break up? When we were together, I was so focused on the bad. Well, this isn't true for everyone, first of all, number one. It's not like one of those general things where like I come across people and I'm like, oh God, here we go again. It's different for everyone, okay? So your individual situation will magnify these good memories coming back because the loss is being magnified. And that goes back to that final statement I made in this browser on the side here. But what I would say to this is that if you're focused on all the good memories, a lot of it's being triggered by something, and that's something I'm going to come back to again. And the triggers are based on your environment. So if you had a house together, a condo, apartment, a shack, whatever, a dormitory, I don't care what it is, and you live together for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 6 months, 8 months, when you come home and that room's fucking empty and they moved in with a friend or a family member or someone new, much different. That will instantly trigger good memories because you have this loss, you have this void, and humans like interaction, they like emotional stability, and they like someone to be home when they're there. So that's a big part of it, and that's one thing that you can immediately change to help you. I don't recommend people going to places for nostalgia to remember how good things were, because I think that will hold you back. If you're going to do that, maybe in the beginning, it's fine. Does loss linger longer than a win? Okay, so I was thinking about this a while back. Bill Walsh, who's an NFL National Football League American football for the people in Europe out there. He was a big-time coach for the San Francisco 49ers, and he was a winning coach. He had, great record, won 3 championships, and he quit, right? He quit when he won his 3rd championship, and he was probably the best coach in the league, had the best team. Everyone was like, what the fuck? Why did you quit? And he said it wasn't about how much he was winning. It was that he couldn't handle losing. And if you talk to a lot of teams, you talk to a lot of guys in sports and different things like that, or lawyers, anything where there's a win-loss kind of thing, they'll always say that the loss lingers much longer than the win. The win's a moment, it's nice, you might have a trophy, you might have a moment. That loss is a lot of shoulda, coulda, wouldas. And so that's why I think anytime you're in a loss, you're going to look back on it because we want to keep what's valuable to us. And that's why it continues to linger on you, because what you win in the moment, you celebrate, it's a good time. And those memories that you're thinking about, oh, I didn't cherish them, I didn't appreciate them enough, because you thought more were coming. You didn't think there was going to be a shelf life on those. So what triggers the memories? What triggers the memories is environment. I said that once, I said it twice, I said it 3 times. So always be aware of that. That's what's triggering it, and write it down. And change your environment, change your routine. I've talked about this before, and this will help with the memories. Do all breakups have this cloud of good memories? No. I wouldn't say that's true. I'd say if someone's moved on immediately, they have some waiting in the wings, they've been seeing someone else, then it's not so bad. Because bottom line is, if you have, it's just like if someone took your car away, I don't care what kind of, let's say it's a Mercedes-Benz, and you didn't have a car afterwards, you'd be missing that car quite a bit. If you were able to trade that car in for something equal or better value, would you be thinking, oh, I really love that car? Maybe once or twice a year, but not really. So a lot of times the void is the problem. The lack of a replacement is the problem. And I'm not telling you to, quote unquote, get in a rebound relationship, but that's the problem. And if someone else has someone waiting on the wings, or they have some people, how should I say this, a little fan club that's waiting on them, if you know what I mean, or they have immediate options waiting for them, then it's going to be much easier for them to slide into singlehood. What happens when famous people die? So maybe you're thinking, what the fuck does that mean, Mac? What it means is Steve Jobs, right? Everyone, oh my God. Like, I remember Facebook was going off when Steve Jobs passed. Everything's going on and on. And I'm thinking, yeah, he's the head of Apple. I guess he's a rich guy. He's innovated something. They turned him into like this fantastic person, because when someone passes away, you're not going to go run through the guy's faults, right? Because it's not a nice thing to do. It's like, I remember when I was a kid, Princess Diana in England or the UK, whatever it is, she would be Princess of England, right? Help me with that head work. My ignorance as an American knowing that or not. But when I was a kid, the Inquirer always had all this fucking gossip on her and, all these things about her. And then when she died, she was a saint, right? I mean, it was like none of that stuff came out. She was this fantastic person. And it's because people usually, after a loss happens, they're not going to bury the other person. Let's look at it from a sports standpoint. If some other team beats you and some other guy keeps egging it on or talking shit, you're kind of like, dude, you already won. So I mean, when the breakup happens, a lot of times what I'm saying is we tend to, when we lose something, look at the positives that we lost, right? And the same thing happened with Tupac, the rapper. He was a rapper. He was famous. He was probably, I don't know what he would rank at the time, but when he passed away, it was like whew, legend instantly. And if you watched a movie about Tupac or you watched a movie about Steve Jobs, they weren't people that were perfect people. They weren't saints in any way. And especially after watching Steve Jobs and the way he treated his daughter was shocking, that people hold him on such a high pedestal or such a high level, and the way he treated the coworkers and different things. It just doesn't really tell the whole story. But when he passed away, it's just like legendary, bam. And I think we tend to do that when we lose things. How do people move on without dwelling so much on the past? Like I said before, replacements help. Replacements help. Changing into a new environment helps. Having somewhere new to move to, having a new job to go to, having a fresh start. When you move somewhere new, you have to change your whole mindset and you have to go into a whole new space, and it really helps you move on. So, all that said, I got some comments. All right. This is cool. We got a lot of shit on deck here. Just my usual pilot terminology. Right on, Headwork. Gotcha, bud. Tell my little bros, keep the things in control in your life that you have control over. Everything else will come into place. Women and things like that we can't control, so don't even try. Right on. The fading effect bias. Remembering the fading effect bias. I mean, the other thing I would say, Judy Jack Burton, welcome. Haven't seen you on for a while. The fading effect bias. I haven't heard that exact term, but I know what you mean by it. And one of the other things I mentioned to a friend that asked me about this, I said cognitive bias, which is controlling the narrative. You believe what you want to believe. So it's just like, do you have a family member or a good friend, especially a family member, that's doing some bad things or, things that you wouldn't really be proud of, and you might talk about them, but someone else says something, you're like, what the fuck did you say? Right? It's the same thing with your ex. It's like, you don't want to hear bad shit from other people. You don't want to keep going on. So the fading effect bias, remembering the best over time. Thanks for that, Judy Jack. Hey, Coach, we're watching you with my friends on TV. Welcome, Alejandro. Buenos noches. I believe it's late evening over there, my friend, Mr. Rodriguez. Let me know if your friends have anything they want to chime in on or anything. If you have any other questions outside of this topic. Is this how it will be after a divorce, constantly feeling your loss? 1980 Deanne. 1980 Deanne, will it always be that way? I remember when I was in my breakup 10 years ago, and I'm fucking going through it. I'm like, how long is this going to last? 10 years later, I can honestly say it's dust. It's vaporized. It's okay. And it was dust a long time ago. So it will get better if you do the right things and you move forward. And what I would say, you're constantly feeling a loss as long as you don't have a replacement in that space. Some people might say, oh, well, you can live on your own for a while, but you're still going to have a void, and that's where those memories really bother you. But they'll wane, right? It won't be forever, and that's completely up to you and how you handle things moving forward, Deanne. When I broke up with my ex, I had flashbacks of all our memories that night. I went insane after a while. I was that angry, I nearly smashed something. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Dylan. I hope you got that under control, dude. I have a massive fan club. Yes, you do, Edward. Lisa Jones. So true. LOL. Lol. Diane Spencer, descendant of King Henry VIII. She has an uncommon car. She has a common car. Every time I see the car, it triggers memories. Well, there you go, right? Isn't that so, here's what I'll say, though. With a car, no. And I've had someone else that I did a live coaching with say he caught a smell at Barnes & Noble that smelled like his ex's car, and he went nuts. He went into a mouse wheel mode, I call it, and he started fucking flipping out. He's like, I couldn't study for my next test and all this other stuff. And that's what I mean by a trigger. It happens, right? It starts putting you in this mode where you're like, oh shit, what just happened? Because it sparks a memory. So something about that car you kind of like, probably. For me, triggers about my ex, I mean, like I said, we lived together for 4 or 5 years. We shared the same room. So laying in bed was like there was a ghost there or something. It was eerie. It was like this feeling. I remember just feeling like I feel so uncomfortable in this empty room. It's like the Queen Mary or something. If the dumpy tends to get stuck on the good memories, welcome, James. If the dumpy tends to get stuck on the good memories, does the dumper never experience the same? You hear about fading effect bias, but that doesn't mean they will reach out. I'm not saying they will reach out. I'm not saying the dumper doesn't remember good memories either. I'm just saying in most cases, for you as an individual, if you feel like, why am I having so many of these memories? A lot of it has to do with where are you at in your life right now? Are you busy? I mean, if you're not busy, then it's going to be more and more memories. Another part of the dimension is how long were you together? Did you live together? How much actual time did you spend together? Right? And the reason why I talk about this buckets thing, and you could call it whatever you want, having your shit together, people say, oh, I got my shit together. That means they got their buckets full. They got a good job. They got their financials right. They're spiritually good. They got friends and family on deck, whatever, right? If a lot of those things aren't on deck and your girlfriend or your partner or what have you breaks up with you, it's like that was a big part. That bucket was carrying everything. So that makes a big difference. And, people place their relationships on different levels, right? Have you ever seen people and you're like, damn, if they ever break up, that's going to be fucking tough. You know what I mean? That's going to be fucking tough because they're so close. They spend time together all the time. And then you got some other couples that they've had distance for years, right? Someone that's together 7 or 8 years. Sometimes the breakup's easier because they already were broken up a year or 2 years prior. They weren't getting along. When someone has a backup plan, more times than not, when reality sets in, that doesn't work out, they have a double hardship. Both breakups surface, and now they have to deal with both losses. Well, yeah, I don't even know. I mean, you could call it a backup plan, but I'm just saying the people that are going to have less good memories or dwelling on good memories are going to be riding into a relationship or riding into something. And I've seen this a few times where saw it. Sorry for the grammar. Like I give a fuck. But the thing is, they'll be like, you know what? I think she's seeing someone. I'll be like, okay, where did this come from? Well, I saw this picture and this and that. I'm like, all right, well, stay off social media. You don't want to see that. But then they find out, no, she is really seeing someone else straight out of the breakup. And it doesn't mean they were cheating. It just means they had interest. Someone else showed them interest, and immediately when they broke up, like a week, 2 weeks later, they're dating. Doesn't mean it's a rebound right away either. Doesn't mean they're going to get with that person, but it doesn't mean that they're not going to be dwelling on those good memories because they're going to be with someone else. But they will surface at some point, right? The human mind doesn't work that way. I only say that because her ancestor was a royal major crazy fuck. If chopping heads off your wives is okay, then we need to change the world. Okay. So I know Princess of Wales. All right. Thanks for that, Judy Jack. But you know my point. The media, she was gossiped about. I know she was much loved, but when she passed away, a friend of mine was telling me from England was like he was surprised how much glory she got. And I'm not, I didn't follow her that closely, but like I said, when someone passes away, there's not many times people just pour dirt on them, right? Pac, been a legend since day one. GOAT. Who's Pac? Who's PAC? I know what GOAT is, greatest of all time. You're wondering how they could have left you and your ego starts defending itself. So it uses all these good memories as evidence of why you should be together, pushing you to reconnect. Great way to put it, James. You're wondering how they could have left you and your ego starts defending itself. Yeah, I agree. The ego is a big part of it because that goes back to my point in the beginning when I said, like someone says something bad about one of your family members and comment about it. It's like, no. If there's something about one of your family members, about it, you might even mention it a few times, but you want to hear someone else saying it. So when you get out of a breakup, you can be bitching, you can be talking, and then when you get out of it, it's kind of like, wait a minute, that's a part of me. That's kind of a reflection of me. When someone starts down talking their ex, it's like, well, what does that say about you being with them for a year, 2 years? If people want to, sorry, lost my place here. If people want to get over a breakup, the book, The Alter Ego Effect, I'm reading talks about becoming someone else that we all have inside of us to get you through anything. It's like you almost take on another personality. Okay, and I would add to that, changing environment would help that. Okay, because the people around you, the job you work at, aren't gonna be like, oh, the new you, that's you. They're gonna go, who the fuck is this guy? Who do you think you are? You think you're this person? But when you move into a new environment or a new job, no one has any pre-thoughts. The words evading me. Preconceptions about your character. But when someone knows you for 2 or 3 years and you change, it's like, what the fuck? Who do you think you are? What's this all about? They don't like it usually because people like familiarity. I only exist to kill people's illusions. That's deep head work. As long as you see the world through your eyes, you will continue to be blind. Well, it's very difficult to see the eyes through other people's eyes, but it's definitely the way to be understanding and compassionate, right? I do my best, but I haven't always. Those memories will always be there if it's how you wanted to look at them, that define how you used those to move forward or continue to be stuck right where you're at. Yeah, you can frame it any way you want. I mean, there was a time I think the worst thing to do, or one of the worst things to do, and if you guys want to agree or disagree on this, is when you're having those good memories, thinking to yourself, I'll never, ever have those kinds of memories again. I'll never meet someone like that again. And they were so much better than me. If you start doing that fucking narrative, no. If you think to yourself, wow, we had a really good time, and you start to appreciate it for what it was, the past. And here's the kicker. If you stayed together, would you think those memories were that special? You probably wouldn't even appreciate them that much because you would be thinking, well, we're going to have further memories in the future. But getting back to this specific topic today, the question was based on the fact that this individual that sent the question to me said when he was about to break up, this is what makes it different. All he could focus on was the bad stuff, meaning that there was bad stuff there. Now, if you're in a breakup and you just get fucking blindsided with a right hook, right? Someone just cakes you. It's totally different, right? Because those good memories, you're like, why did this happen? I mean, I've had a few different clients that are in a really good place. Most of their buckets are full. They're doing really well in life. Great job. Lots of confidence. And the person just flat out says, I don't want to be with you anymore, which is not a good match. They have a lot of trouble with that because they're like, why would they not want to be with me? I'm hot shit. They have a lot of trouble with it. It's ego-based, and they're like, I tick all these boxes. I don't fucking get it. They don't get stuck on good memories. They get stuck on that last day with that last breakup and that rejection. They don't fucking get it. They just rewind that one moment. So sometimes people are just rewinding one moment of shoulda, coulda, wouldas, or what the fuck did I miss? Right? That's, I guess, for another time or another post for a topic. Good memories are going to come and go, but if you're dwelling on them, that tells me in your present time that there's other bad parts of your life that are a little out of control and you need to get a grip on them. And the only way, actually, here's the irony in that. If other parts of your life are not going well, your financials, your job, your whatever, your friends and family, some of these other things, probably breaking up is going to help you focus on those, get back on deck, and possibly get a replacement or make yourself more attractive to possibly get back together. It's like watching Corey 2.0. Shave your hair off, mofo. Notice you got the glasses on now, even though you said a few vids ago there is no turning back when you wear them. Going to have to coach you. There's no turning back when you wear them. No turning back. What do you mean? Okay, to explain the glasses, when I'm in the office, I got lights on. See those lights? The lights bother me. When I was away for this whole month, I had a window that was right in my face, so I didn't need to wear them. It didn't bother my eyes as much. And I'll take that as a compliment. And I might have to shave my head pretty soon because I got a fucking mean hairline that's receding here. See that oil from that little oily residue from being in the tropics again? At work, that one I'm not gonna disclose. Oh, Pac, I'm sorry, dude. When you just put PAC, I'm sorry. Yeah, Pac. I mean, he's a legend, but I'm saying I remember I was in high school when he passed away, and like we were watching a football game, like it was the afternoon. I remember, and one of my friends. I mean, I liked hip hop, I liked rap, but it wasn't like, oh, he's the greatest of all time. You know, at that time, Tupac was like a top rapper, but when he passed away, it was just like, whew. If you watch movies and documentaries about him, it wasn't like he was a good Samaritan in all aspects, but he's a fucking damn good rapper. There's a lot of cool things about him. But I'm saying once the loss was there, his music and the popularity of it went way the fuck up. And we appreciated it more, really. Or I did. Maybe I'm wrong sometimes. Study guidance. Hello, Mac. In order to make her feel nostalgia, should I block her to feel lonely? You shouldn't try any of that shit. You should be on point for yourself. You should be moving forward for yourself. If you're trying, should I block her to feel lonely? I mean, you're leading with bad intentions to make her feel nostalgia. I mean, you could use that. Let me reframe that, study guidance. You can use that, and it can work. I don't like to encourage that. I would rather encourage you to say, you know what? I'm a calm, confident, cool individual that can get back on deck at some point. I don't need to create some false narrative to create nostalgia. Because if she finds out or she sniffs that out, you just went down like 3-4 notches, dude. And then, I mean, where's your confidence at to try to do that, right? And I'm not putting you down because I mean, a lot of people do that. And that's one of those things that I think Brad Browning talks about, trying to create nostalgia out of a memory. If you want to block her, you block her because you're moving forward and you don't want to deal with the back and forth and you're done negotiating, you're done playing the games. And she broke up with you, and the terms that you broke up on are at this point aren't negotiable. But as a byproduct of you blocking her, maybe she'll be lonely, maybe she'll feel nostalgia, but that shouldn't be your goal. You shouldn't be focused on that, because if it doesn't work out, you're going to be sitting there playing sad music, calling Tyrone, saying like, oh my God, this is so horrible, man. Oh my God, because you had these expectations that if you blocked her, you'd make her feel lonely and nostalgia. Your expectations of blocking her should be, I'm moving forward by me talking to her. I'm just sitting in a zone that I don't want to be in. We're in a state of loss. That's why we keep replaying those memories. Humans respond to loss, and they do to win, scientifically proven. Absolutely. I didn't get into that. I mean, I could go online and pick up a study. You probably know about it, Nike One. There's so much stuff out there, but you're absolutely correct that we remember our losses more than our wins. That's why sometimes when people are in a really good place, I heard this guy one time. He was telling me he's just made all this money. He's like, you know what, man? I really have to remind myself to be in the moment. He was validating while he was going out and getting bottle service and all these things, and he was making all this money. Because usually when you're in the moment and you're winning, it doesn't feel like you enjoy it as long as you dwell or linger on a loss, if that makes sense. I mean, think about the great wins or great moments in your life, and how long you really savored them, right? But you look at the losses and you still fucking think about them. Step one, kill Facebook. That's what you said about the glasses, bro. You are good looking, so you have jack shit to worry about. I don't know what you mean by that. You mean the glasses? I feel that, coach. I look at it like I'm a catch all buckets full in my life in a good spot. So when the recent ex left, it stung initially, but have always looked at the bigger picture of my life. Sweet. I'm happy for you, man. Meant for me will show up and stay. So now life is about buckets. It could be about whatever the fuck you want it to be about, head work. I just use that as a way to look at it. If you want to call you want to call life about other things, no problem. It could be, I mean, whatever you want it to be about. My point about buckets is separating different parts of your life into different categories rather than layering it all together and just using that as a metaphor per se. Buckets makes it easier, but if you wanted to make it about something else, go ahead. If you have a better way to put it, if you said there were different instruments, being that you're from a band, fine. You know, she left me because she took me for granted. Well, if she took you for granted, then that's her loss. If you feel like she took you for granted, why would you want to create nostalgia or anything like that or get back with her? Take some time away from the situation, study guidance, maybe write your story and send it in if you haven't sent it in to me yet. I'll give you my full take because I don't know exactly what's going on with that. So I think if you feel that she took you for granted, you need to take some time to let the smoke clear before you try to play games with blocking her. If you're going to block her, do it for you. And do it for you moving forward. Yeah, the Facebook thing has to be killed. Delete the thing. It's the byproduct period. Don't become a Chad or Tyrone. So now it's the bucket wars. It's not bucket wars, no. It's just a term I use. Fill your bucket, you know what I mean? Separate buckets. You could change it. You know? Oh, you like the bucket analogy. Okay. I just think it's easy to understand. That's all. You could be Brad Pitt with all the money in the world. If a woman's emotions aren't there with you, you are with someone else. She'll have every excuse as to why she can't be with you right now. Well, I mean, it's an age-old thing too. Have you, you see a good-looking woman and there's a guy out there tired of seeing her. You know, rather than block, maybe take a break off social media. Yeah, Judy Jack, I've said that before. If you don't want to block the person because it's a big deal for you to block the person, then take a break from social media for yourself. But don't do it with the intention that you're going to make them lonely. I think that's negative. I think that's misleading. You definitely could, but you're not. Here's the thing, study guidance. Here it is. Dun, 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 dun. Here's the thing, bud. You're not fixing the problem. The problem is you were taken for granted. If you were taken for granted, she needs to miss you, right? You trying to make her miss you is just reinforcing the fact that she takes you for granted. Move on. Move forward. That's true. If you're going to block them, it should be with the right intention. I blocked mine so that I can move forward. Right on, Daniel, and not risk the chance of stalking. Exactly my point, people. Everyone, well, you know what? I'm just not going to check, and I've had really a lot of discipline about that. The amount of people I talk to in live coachings that go, you know what? It's been 3 weeks, but I did just check her social media, and I did see her with this other guy taking a picture, and they need to talk about it for an hour and a half to me, and that's completely fine. I'll talk to you about it. I'll give you my take. That's what I'm here for. But you just went back to ground zero by going back and checking that. And the whole thing about social media, a picture, you don't know the fucking story. I think I'm going to make a song called Bucket Girl. Okay, send it. Not risk the chances of stalking. Break your life into sections and look at which areas you can improve in. Yeah, and if you break the bucket, she had a hole in it. Okay, you're just going all over with the buckets, huh? And for another live stream, I'll talk about the different buckets. That's the problem with social media. I have 2 people in one profile and 3,000 plus in another. Why is that a problem? Mac, are you back from SF? Yes, sir, I am. I wasn't actually in SF, Daniel. I was in Northern California, a little closer to Sacramento. Actually near Chico, which has a university there. So, yeah, I'm back though. Flew out of SFO yesterday. Was tired as fuck. Feeling a lot better today. Facebook isn't reality anyways. Everyone highlight real. Good way to put it, Judy Jack. I call it competitive happiness. I mean, people, the funny thing about that is it's not everyone's great. Like some will either put all their best shit, which a majority do, or some people put like where you're like, oh my God, I'm sorry to hear that. And then someone's like, wow, you put that on Facebook for attention? It's usually not, you're not just going to put like, oh, I went for a walk today at the park, here's my dog, but people do it. Are we allowed to say San Fran? Yes, you are. Nice. The more secure you are with yourself and less checking on social media will affect you. There's another bus every 15 minutes. I think with social media, I mean, Mac, are you familiar with the fading effect bias? No. But I think I understand it pretty well by the term. But I'm not familiar with I haven't looked up the term before. So if you want to share that, go ahead, dude. And if that fading effect bias has, when I do these live streams, sometimes people will be like, oh, you don't know about this, right? People have done that in the comments about, oh, you don't know about attachment, such and such issue? No, but I'll tell you, I don't. Social media is a good place to show people who we want to be, not who we are. I think that, I mean, for me, living far, far away from where I grew up, it keeps me in touch with some people, but I don't really use it. And I don't even use it for this, for Coach Mac McCarthy. I'll probably be starting an account soon because this is what I've been told is holding me back a little bit with viewers, not having an IG account, not having a Coach Mac McCarthy Facebook. I have a Coach Mac McCarthy Facebook, but I just don't do anything with it. So totally, bro, you hit a spot on. Social media is bad. I'm also a PC engineer, so I can hack as well, and it's not good for the soul seeing this stuff. Yeah, it's a little scary how they share your info, man. Like if I had a social media site, they say they wouldn't make any money, but it would be nice to just have something. Now the ads started. Now they're sharing your information. I mean, and the thing is, you get hooked on it. It's basically like the Inquirer of your friends. But also, like Judy Jack said, it's a highlight reel. I mean, sometimes it's like, really, do you have to share your greatest dinner of the week? Junior 77048, welcome to the live stream. I haven't seen you before, huh? I've been divorced 3 years, and I do remember the good times. I don't have social media, so it's easier for me not to check up on her. I do miss her and my family. The fact that you were divorced, so you were married, that's a little deeper wound, I'd say. And I don't know how long you were together, but that makes a difference. And that you had kids together, that makes a difference also. Junior, have you moved forward? Have you been started dating? Maybe you want to share that with us. But thanks for chiming in on that. When normal people love, we love. When dysfunctional people claim to love, they replace. Everyone has a different form of love and showing love. Everyone has, Milton Erickson, the great hypnotherapist and psychological wonder, said that people are like a fingerprint. Everyone has all these experiences and different things, and that adds up to how we look at the world. So a lot of times when we're thinking like dysfunctional people, it's not always their fault. I mean, the instant gratification that we're getting from social media is damaging our subconscious minds, that people aren't satisfied anymore in relationships. I would say it doesn't help. It doesn't help. The fact that a lot of people don't think they can do better or something goes wrong. I'll talk about it in another live stream, but it's really interesting going from living in one country for a long time and then visiting your home country and seeing some different things that maybe you don't normally notice. In your case, it's different. It's good for you to spread out, but I call the Garland syndrome. What's Garland syndrome? I don't know what that is. And I will look the Judy Garland. That's what I was thinking in my head. So the Wizard of Oz, is that what you're talking about? And Daniel and Judy Jack, I will look up that fading effect bias just to clarify it for myself. I'll do that afterwards. Yep, and her life. Can you elaborate, Edward? Garland syndrome. Okay. She was a royal head fuck. Okay. Thanks for that head work. All right. So is anyone else out there do you see my point about probably changing the environment? Does anyone else have any? I appreciate your honesty, Mac. The fact that you're willing to learn something new, such as fading effect. I won't lie about something I don't know about. Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, I know about that. No, I have an idea what fading effect bias would be about, but I haven't studied it or looked it up. But I'll look it up after this because it's been mentioned twice. I would contribute it to a form of cognitive bias, where you're forming a narrative to fit what you want to believe, right? When you break up with someone, don't you want to believe that you guys had a good relationship? Rob, IS, greetings, Rob. Cheers. Yes, sometimes no. So you're in between, so you go back and forth. Yeah. Hello, seen many bids, first time live. Right on, Rob. Welcome, buddy. Where are you from? First time guest, long time listener. Only history that is true is your own. Toronto, Canada. Oh my God, we got a Raptors fan on deck. I'm a Dubs fan, dude. We won't get into basketball, but I'm happy for you guys. Must be cold over there right now. I actually had a guy that was from Toronto that I was just talking to, and he lives in the city. He's like, they're in the finals? What happened? I've started dating recently. We were together 10 years and do have kids. Dating game sure is different from what I was accustomed to. Yeah, Junior, the fact that you were with each other for 10 years and had a family, I think your levels of memories would be a lot higher. Obviously, you'd have more memories in 10 years than you would with someone in 2 years, right? But I think what happens once you find someone new, and I'll give you guys an example, and I think I've mentioned this in other videos, but probably haven't seen all the videos. But there was this guy that I met on a plane coming back to Thailand a couple years back, and he was telling me about how basically he got into a conversation with me. And this is kind of funny because people talk to me about their relationships a lot. I don't introduce myself like, hey, my name is Mac McCarthy and I help people with the breakups, not on a plane or something like that. It's just, oh, hey, I'm a conversationalist, just talking. And somehow it got into, how he moved and this and that. And basically he had a caregiver that was taking care of his wife's father, so his father-in-law, and the caregiver's daughter, who was in her early 20s, and he was probably in his early 40s or late 30s. He met her. She helped out with his father-in-law. About 6 or 7 years later, she called up just checking in with the family, saying hello. And this guy said, hey, do you have a boyfriend yet? And she said, no, I've been waiting for you. And this guy booked a flight and went and saw her, and they ended up getting together, and he left his wife. And he continued to tell me about, everything was good in our marriage except, our sex life and this and that and this and that. And he didn't have a lot of good memories to share, but what he talked about is how good his new wife was and how great their life was. And so that my point was, I think the good memories start to fade when you start to replace those with new good memories. And the guy had 2 or 3 kids, I think. And he said early on they were in a pretty good place, but the last 3 or 4 years was really bad. So it depends on, especially like in a marriage with kids, like I said, in 10 years, I don't know the story with Junior in this particular case, but sometimes if it's a long relationship, you knew the relationship was going to end or it was really bad for a year or 2 years. Took the words out of my mouth, Coach. Cognitive behaviors reshape those and things will begin to change for you. Yep. Bounce. Perfection is a hard place to get to as the bus never arrives. I don't really like the word, when someone's like, oh, that's perfect. I'm far from a perfectionist. I think people can tell about my videos because I don't cut them or anything. Even as a teacher, I don't write elaborate lesson plans or anything like that. So maybe that's just me, my cognitive bias. not being a perfectionist. I improvise quite well. So, but people have a lot of trouble when they seek perfection, because I don't think perfection isn't. You might have a perfect moment, but it's hard to make it last. It's definitely hard on you. You're being hard on yourself if you're seeking perfection all the time. But some of the best at what they do consider themselves perfectionists. So, a short definition of FAB, which is fading something bias, fading effect bias, is that the information regarding negative emotions tends to be forgotten more quickly than pleasant emotions after time passes. Could be a couple hours, a couple of days, or weeks, and months. Okay, well, I fucking agree with that 100%. Thanks for that little lesson, Daniel. I appreciate it. For some reason, I've never seen your live chats listed under the live section. I think it has something to do with the YouTube algorithm. You know what, Rob? I'm not sure. I've had other people complain to me that they never see him coming on. I'm not sure. I guess I can look that up and try to figure it out. I'm glad you're on deck today. I've made a declaration that starting June 1st, which was yesterday, that I would do one every day, but I had a long flight of 17 hours and 2 layovers. So I was pretty tired and looking pretty rugged. Not that that would matter on a live stream, but I took a break yesterday and I'm going to start today. So I'm going to try to pick a time frame that can be the same time every day. And that way, anyone that wants to chat or join in can. Hey, coach, I've been getting lots of attention from younger women and MILFs. Nothing near my age. Well, what the fuck do you want? You know what I mean? Like Rob just said, what's your age? You're early 30s, if I remember correct, Alejandro. I could be wrong. I thought like 32 off the top of my head. I mean, MILFs are cool. Women in their early 20s, what's wrong with that? Are you bringing yourself to women your age, or is it just that you don't have a lot in common? I don't know. I mean, first of all, establish what you're looking for, and then establish where you're meeting those individuals at, and then recalibrate to places that, you know, the women in their early 30s or whatnot would be. But being that you live in Boston, Alejandro, you're probably going to meet a lot of people in the early 20s. Like I said, it's a lot of students. What's wrong with MILF, though? Ego roots the soul. Early 20s and 40s, lower ones, perfections, and it will become greater. Thanks for everyone that's on board today. This is a nice little session. 12 people, nice. The ex that reached out from almost 3 years ago said when we met up that I was different from my mannerisms, the way I speak, just confirming the hard work I put in being different than from what she knew. Well, that's fucking outstanding. I'm sure that if you overcompensated right away when you guys first broke up and tried to get back together, you probably wouldn't be where you're at right now. And the fact that you probably in that situation, Nike, when you weren't probably like, oh, really? That's what you think? You probably were like, yep. You know, have you ever gotten a compliment and you were like, or given a compliment and someone keeps explaining themselves? That usually means that they don't believe the compliment. When someone goes, yeah, thank you. You probably just went, thanks. I appreciate that. Moved on the situation. Because with a topic like this, there should be many more people. However, I think most people, when checking the live button on the left margin, they don't see it. All right, I'll take that into account, Rob. You know what? I get it all the time. People always tell me like, oh, there should be more viewers. It's a group that I work with now and live now. We'll go inch by inch here. The picture in life is always bigger than the frame. That can mean many things. Younger women can be a headache. If you're in your third, I'm 32 and have nothing but women in their early 20s hitting me up except my recent ex. Again, Nike One, I think San Diego being a college town, not just San Diego State, but like you have USD and these, what's the other one? The UC. It's a young town, military. So that has to do with the social, you know, the collective group up there is probably younger. And the same thing with Boston. That's not just by chance. That's by region and environment. So that being said, you can't meet someone, especially, that's highly mature for her age in her early 20s. But I do think now that I'm in my 30s and being 38, and I do meet someone in the early 20s, like right away, you're like, this is when I feel a little bit older and wiser. Especially if you're in SoCal, and oh my God, I went down the street, and then I met this girl. It was like 4 or 5 years back. I was working at a charity, and her friend were from California, and they were from a really expensive area, and they were both college graduates. And we went out for drinks, just casual, nothing serious or anything like that, just talking about teaching and different things. And the girl was like really good looking. Like I said, went to a really good university, had like a computer science degree, and the other one had something else. And talking to them was just, and then we went to get our apartment, and at first I just was really uncomfortable. And then Karen was with me, and we just both looked across the street, and we just knew that was the place we wanted to live at. And I was just sitting there like, what the fuck? Wow. You had a degree in computer science? In my head, I'm like, okay. Looks aren't everything. It's got to be one of the most annoying accents or words to overuse. Alejandro, these past weekends that I've been going to the bar, I've been attracting MILFs to. Yesterday I met a MILF that is the mother of one of my buddies from high school. Dude, but you're 21, so MILFs love a guy in their early 20s, right? I mean, I need me a grown woman. If there's no strings attached in your early 20s, I mean, what's holding you back? Trust me, Daniel, you don't. Every situation is different, fellas. You need a young, unemployed heroin addict that wants to move out of her parents. That's a little UK sarcasm by Headwork here. That's a Train Spotting. Is that from Train Spotting, the movie? Exactly, Coach. I knew I was different. I'm different. Exactly, Coach. I knew I was different. I'm different, and that shit was speaking for itself without me having to say anything. And what I mean by that Nike one too is when it was said, you just went, "Yeah, that's true." Like in your head, you're like, "Thanks." Whereas if you weren't on point with that, you'd be like, "Really? Really? What do you mean? Right? What do you mean by that?" Right? You probably just went, "Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that." Masculine energy also has a similar informative live chat. But that one, for some reason, comes up. I will help spread the word about your channel. Thanks, bud. How's Masculine Energy? I've seen him before. That dude's from Canada, I believe. He's the one with the beard. He seems pretty cool. Swears and stuff. He's got like a different approach. Do you enjoy that? I mean, people are thinking, well, are you plugging the channel on my channel? I don't really care. I mean, it's fine. Parents, even not sure what parents are. It's the gray hair and their beard, Coach, and I'm sticking with that. They love it. Good for you, dude. Little wisdom, white hairs. I do, though. Listen, bro, I'm 49, in a band, and been there, bought the t-shirt. You need a woman that's young and does not say like all the time. How annoying is it? I mean, it's not just annoying. It's just like, what the fuck? Why are you talking this way? And then oh my God, so that's that time I'm talking about. She had to explain getting an apartment like it was the most traumatic event in her fucking life. It was like there's a sign, and then we sat down and we're like, we're getting this place right now. It's like, dude, you guys are 23, 24 years old, and you're talking like you're kids. Good for you, Nike One. Good for you. Well, Nike One, white hairs could be whatever the fuck you want them to be. You can that's one of those things you can frame it however you want, my friend. Richard Gere was a famous actor that's been gray since he was fucking in his 20s, and women are all over him. So some women like gray hair, you know what I mean? You know what I mean, Gene? Could be wisdom, could be stress, could be hereditary. I don't know. it's not all bad. I think some people are dyeing their hair gray now as a fucking fashion thing. Do women use that in the UK? I've never met someone in the UK that uses it quite like some people in California. You know, like every other word. And the funny thing is, if you're around people like that, you'll start using it sometimes. You're like, what the hell just happened? She was a computer science major. I'm sorry. I don't know where that's coming from, Dan, but yeah, you're talking about the girl I'm talking. Yeah. And she was from a very astute area of California. She was from a very rich area. Was into yoga. She was hot. Just like, I was like, what? And just very naive about everything. Like, oh my God, like, went to the restaurant and I love that restaurant, but the owner doesn't really like us and doesn't like me, but her husband loves me. He's so nice to me. I'm like, what the fuck? Why do you think the owner's husband likes you and the woman doesn't? Because you're flirting with them. Oh, he always buys us drinks if we want one. Really? Yes, masculine energy is a great guy. Very helpful. No, not plugging in. If you are, it's okay, dude. I think he's a cool dude. I don't take it that way. Didn't mean it to sound that way. Didn't take it that way, dude. I think in these chats, we all help each other. Live sessions are great learning tools. Cool. Maybe I'll enter one of his and chat with him one time. Because I know I don't know if that was his name the whole time. And he's new. He's pretty new and he's blowing up. He's done a lot of social media stuff. He's worked hard at it. Good for him. And I think I've left a comment or two when he first came up and said fucking, Edward, George Clooney. George Clooney, you're talking about the gray-haired, yeah, it's true. Mm-hmm. It's better to have hair with gray hair. Yeah, they do. It's been carried over from the States. Really? That's funny. I didn't know that in the UK. Well, that's funny because the word hella to me was always a Bay Area word. Like, that's hella crazy. And someone was just saying from Southern California. So, wow. That surprises me, Edward. I guess it's from movies and stuff. Wow, LOL, Valley Girls be like. It's not just Valley Girls. Like is the new word for my recent ex had reached out trying to breadcrumbs, I think is what you're saying. I responded, but didn't feel like it was anything worse setting a date with her. Reached out 2 days in a row. Gave what she gave conversation-wise. Nothing more, nothing less, nothing from her since. Masculine energy is cool. Been in live chats a few times. Cool. Good feedback. He seems cool, It's funny because I'll judge people. I'm like, I like Corey Wayne or something. Some of the other people. Some people don't like swearing or using the F word or stuff like that, and he swears quite a bit. So I relate to that. I grew up that way. Pops was a truck driver and a Vietnam vet, so I heard a lot of swearing when I was a kid. My brutal MGTOW is undead chronic. He is brutal as fuck. My brutal MGTOW. Okay, that's a channel. I haven't seen that before. Masculine energy is cool. I saw you did a previous live talking about Corey Wayne topic. Would you do any further topics regarding any Corey Wayne topic? I did a previous live talking. Which one are you talking about? Because I don't think in a live stream, I don't think I talked directly about Corey Wayne. What's a Corey Wayne topic? Meaning I copied something from him? Oh, okay. That wasn't a live chat, the 7 rules. That's a video I made. And I made that a long, long time ago. I certainly could review something of his. Headwork's a big Corey Wayne fan. That video is very popular. The 7 rules. That wasn't a live chat though. Sorry, True. I meant a video. Yeah, that's why I was like, which one are you talking about? Yeah, I just reviewed it. what I've done since then, Rob, is I've just dedicated most of the channel before doing these live streams to answering people's stories directly. And so most of my videos, per se, I'd say over half of the 500 that are up, maybe 400 of them, are all direct takes on someone's individual breakup story. So in that process, what I was doing is I'm going to help one individual, give them a tailored response, and then if someone will get something else out of it. I've actually done the Corey Wayne rules, and they don't always work. Okay. I don't know those 7 principles by heart. I'd have to revisit the video to see. I like Corey Wayne. People always ask me about him. I like him. I respect him. He's a YouTube legend. If there's some people, I've reviewed his book before. That's a really long video. Yeah, Undead Chronic is a very good. He really rips into people, and it makes me laugh, and it lifts me. Well, we see what you value, Headwork. Good for you. Good for you. I agree with you, Alejandro. Younger females are a huge headache. I mean, they can be. They can be, but I mean, not always. You don't want to generalize, but yeah, I mean, if you know what you're looking for and you hang out with them, they're annoying. Like I just gave that example, and I was just like, damn. I mean, looks aren't everything. That's for damn sure. I think that's definitely more true when you get a little bit older. Masculine Energy seems like he watched a lot of Corey Wayne, imitated some of his stuff. He talks about James Bond like he's real. He also uses clickbait titles. Okay. I guess, to be fair, I mean, some people have said I talk like Corey Wayne. I don't think I use the same things. But clickbait titles, I've done that. I actually haven't given those titles. I've had a friend of mine have redone some of the titles because it's supposed to have better keywords for some people to see them. But yeah, some of his titles are like that. With the keyword titles, from what I understand, that's how you get more views and more people come to the video. It's funny you mentioned the James Bond thing, because when people ask me, like, I don't know, I understand the point of always mentioning James Bond, but I'm like, I don't know if people can imitate who James Bond is. That's kind of funny, because I know that he talks about being like James Bond. Yeah, well, I would rather you say it's 90%. I always tell people, anyone on YouTube or anyone that writes a book or any lecturer or any teacher, I mean, you shouldn't agree with everything. You should have you should be like, wait a minute. And if you don't agree with everything, it doesn't mean you hate it or you dislike it or you completely disagree. It's like you have your own fucking values and your own way of looking at things in your own way. So you shouldn't agree 100%. I actually respect that. 3% man is not so easy. In what way, Edward? I always thought it was interesting that it's a 3% man. I need to start going out on functions based on my interests, such as music meetups, computer science meetups, weightlifting. Yeah. I mean, that goes to that demographics thing that I've mentioned many times before. Where are you meeting these women? Really take a good look at that, and then take a good look at where you meet women your age or your interest, and you just fucking mention them right there. Pick one and do it. For someone 21, I don't know if you have a part-time job, Daniel, or an internship, but that's where you meet really. If you're in college, you should have a part-time job or an internship. I'm sorry. I always worked when I was young, and I had an internship, and you just meet a lot of people. Your social skills get good, and you meet more like-minded people. So that would be a good place to meet someone. AET, what's up? I don't agree with his take on dating single mothers just because he never talks about the drawbacks and red flags. Okay, what's his take on dating single mothers? I don't know either. Edward James, but to be fair, it's not easy unless you literally do not give a shit. James Bond is fucking cool. He's fucking James Bond. I'm just saying that I wouldn't relate to like, I'm going to act like James Bond when I meet a woman. But I get the point. Being like James Bond, cool, calm, collective, fucking ultra confident. Yeah, I get it. Judy Jack Burton, yes, Masculine Energies does follow Corey. I wouldn't say they are clickbait titles. He offers real honest opinions, which is respectable. Okay. It's so funny when other coaches come up and different things, and it starts to take it. You know how many other channels maybe you guys have watched, and then it's like, well, someone defends someone. And a while back, someone that was in the live stream that I've never seen before. You know, everyone was kind of like talking shit about Brad Browning, and I was like, yeah, okay, you know, made a few comments, and this out of nowhere, she's like, she left like this paragraph like this long. I love Brad Browning. He's helped me so much. And I was like, well, there you go. You got someone out there, you know, that it's worked for. It's pretty funny. I got some advice from Corey Wayne about my breakup, and another guy called Brad, can't remember his last name, before asking you, Mac, and I still think yours is the best. Well, thanks. Thank you. You talked to Corey Wayne directly? Because that would be $1,000 an hour, Dylan. James Bond is typically viewed as the ultimate alpha male. I wouldn't say it's meant to be taken 100. I agree, Rob. You're right. I'm just saying it doesn't resonate with me on that point. I know what you mean. You know, James Bond to me is like Neo or John Wick, Han Solo. Oh, Rob's been all over the place. You can start a review channel. Good for you, Rob. Rob, go ahead and send your story, and I'll give you my take. We can't all be like that. I just got back from an outing, and I saw a very attractive guy, and I felt the attraction was mutual because he kept copping looks at me. I left feeling giddy. That's it. That's it, AET. AET, let me ask you something. As a woman, because someone was asking me this last live stream, would it be out of line for you to approach that guy? Say, hey, how you doing? I mean, not necessarily buy him a drink, but would that be out of your comfort zone, or is that something you're against? Just curious, because I've had a couple other people talk that were women that were asking me, oh, I'm interested in this guy. I'm like, well, why don't you, like, you don't need to throw yourself at them, but show them that you're interested. Some guys don't get signals. Sometimes they're shy. I don't think there's a problem with showing them you're interested. But if he was giving you looks, you know what good eye contact is or isn't. And if you were looking back and forth, then obviously he was interested. Corey's take on dating. Corey's take on dating single mothers is that it's completely fine, open game, fair enough, but not one mention about things that can go wrong. And dating single mothers usually have many issues. So what that means to me, Rob, is that you've had issues dating a single mother, you know, right? Which can happen. Which can happen. And if I'm correct, I think Corey Wayne used to date a woman that had a kid. He's talked about it in his videos. So his experience was obviously different than yours. It's Derek Jackson who has some info, mostly for women, that is questionable to say the least. I don't know who that is. Not the recent Han Solo. No, but he ain't bad. Okay. I think I asked him for advice. Can't remember, considering I asked a lot of others before I found Max. Well, thanks, Dylan. I appreciate that, buddy. You've been around a long time since the channel started, man. Sorry, I lost my place here, guys. It's not like I'm just stuck on stupid. Sometimes going through it's like, oh. Derek, yeah. My clickbait titles, Emmy makes the like 4+ videos in a row, all called "How to Get Your Ex Back Fast." Facts. Dylan, Ryan, I'm sure I have a bunch of no contacts, so I can't just say that I haven't put some stuff on it like that. Ernesto Farfan. Ernesto. 6-year relationship. I reached out last week. After 9 months, she agreed the day of. She canceled as she was drained by her work week. Responded, let me know when you're available. Thoughts? Anyone want to respond to Ernesto and give him your take? I reached out last week after 9 months. After 9 months of no contact, she agreed the day of that she canceled as she was. I don't understand. This is why it's hard to give you advice, Ernesto, in a small snippet like this. Send your story, and if you want really a good take from me. As she was drained by her work week, responded, let me know when you're available. I've heard of this before where people said like, oh, we made a date and then they canceled on that day. What I would say is I wouldn't call her back again to reschedule. If she canceled and she wants to remake the date, she needs to call you, I'd say, at this point. And you could just leave it at that. Well, when you got time, give me a call. I wouldn't even actually say that, probably. But if she canceled, the ball's kind of in her court at this point. But that being said, without knowing your full story, what your intentions are, what happened in the breakup, it's really kind of a shot in the dark. I don't think it's meant as clickbait, though. He does go over those topics. Okay, Rob, we've established that it's not clickbait that you believe. I'm going to go check out one of those live streams, Rob, though. Like I said, Masculine Energy seems like a cool dude, and he's from your hometown, I believe. Love having the options when it comes to relationship advice. Corey Wayne is like an OG, like the OG. Greg Kenneth used attachment. Rory from the Love Chat uses science and data. Mac, you are logical and honest. All right. Science and data. I'm gonna make no comment on that. No, I never approached a guy before, but I know I should have. I'm not saying you should have, but like, what's holding you back? Because I'm just wondering, like, I don't think it's like a big problem in this day and age. If you, like I said, you don't need to throw yourself, but you can take the first step in showing a little bit of attraction, right? You can show the first step. I've never dated a single mother. However, I've heard from many horror stories on YouTube. Well, don't go with secondary sources. My thing is, I've never dated a single mother, but close friends that have. If you're going to take that on, you don't necessarily have that unconditional love that you would have as a father. Someone retracted alike. You don't necessarily have that love, right? You don't necessarily have that love that a father would have. So you need to really take on the fact that you need to be a part of that kid's life, and what the mom's expecting you to do in that kid's life. And also, do you like the kid? Do you like hanging out around them? Because at first it's like I said, that love's not built up there. And I've had friends that are like, I hate her son. I'm like, how can you have a relationship with her then? And that's a big part of it. Sorry, I lost my place again, guys. This is good. I've never dated a single mother. Okay. Look, I have said before about single mothers, I don't have a problem with it, but you have to bear in mind they have kids, and if you both have your own place, it's difficult. Okay? That's speaking from experience. But it's okay. I can see him anytime because he works at the place I was at. Okay. Yeah, I was just saying that if you haven't done that before, I don't know. I'm not telling you how to approach him, but certainly I've had him in my time where it's been initiated to me, and I've welcomed it, and it didn't come off like she's a hoe or she's throwing herself at me, but she's initiated that we've both made eye contact or we both done this, and then it's like, hey, did you want me to give you a ride, or something like that, and then it's, sometimes that's a nice little boost. It could be a subtle thing showing him that you like him, like, what do you think about the ex-coach that reached out 2 days in a row? Should I have set up a date knowing her situation with her ex? What do you think about that ex-coach that reached out 2 days in a row? Should I have set a date knowing her situation with her ex? I don't know her situation with her ex. Oh, okay. So because I'm a little confused, Nike. Sorry, everyone, because we've done a live coaching, so I know a little bit more about his situation. Well, there's something that held you back from not doing it originally. But I think I gave you my take in that email. I would say this. I would say if situation is, if you can't go into that situation casually, if you can, fine. But that particular situation, she was very up and down. If you want to reach out to her now and initiate something, fine, because I don't think you have a whole lot to lose. You're spinning a few different plates. But if she doesn't respond to you now, then that's your clarity. Don't push it any further. Don't put anything into it. The expectations are different. Most guys go in it not knowing that. True, Rob. Life is so varied. If you see her smile at you with good eye contact, she wants you to approach her. Is that always true, AET? If you smile at a guy with good eye contact, do you want them to approach? Because I think you're the only female. Oh, Judy Jack Burton, only female in here. Do you want a guy to approach you? I'm looking into. I have a few people in mind to have some guest females on the live stream to get the female perspective. I think would be really cool. With no contact, you can walk and never look back. If you see the smile at you with a good eye contact, Ernesto, are you the dumper or were you the dumped? Edward, I'm literally just waiting for my cats to die. That's my life. LOL. That's deep. Emmy did a shot of alcohol on camera while filming, very unprofessionally, constantly emphasis material gain aspect of his channel. Okay, so Judy Jack doesn't care for him, Rob. I've been down the Sandman route, bro. Listen to the Sandman? I don't get that one. I don't know what that means. Not sure that it really matters. I don't think anyone is offended by that. If it's not supposed to be professional, is it? Well, the beauty of YouTube, being someone that put a lot of content out there, is if you don't like it, then don't watch it. If you don't like the way someone is, you don't like their approach. When I first started doing this, it's like, oh, you're going to open yourself up to a lot of criticism. That's the fucking way it is. And some people don't like me. Shit. There's plenty of other channels to go to. Or some people have said to me, well, I think I can do breakup coaching. Good for you. Fucking go for it. We all have our own approach, and some of you guys might really like my approach, and some of you, might think like, no, I'd rather talk to someone else or get someone else's. That's cool. Shit. My thing is like, you can see how I treat people's stories on my channel, and you can say like, oh, I like the way that guy approaches it, or you can say, you know what, I don't want any advice from him. So be it. No sweat off my balls. When women approach, I would say most guys are okay with that. Yeah, I would say yeah too. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, there's probably some nuance to that, right? The fact that if you're just, I've been approached before where it's a turnoff. It's not happened to me many times, but I remember I was at the beach. This was years ago. I was with a buddy. We had some beers. We were in Half Moon Bay, which is Northern California. We were just chilling, which is not normally warm there. And this woman, she had a son with her. She came over and we were chilling. She's like, oh my God, she was just like throwing herself. Hey, you know what? My car's right over there. It's just like, the son's like 10 years old. It was just like, I don't want to embarrass you, but what are you doing in front of your son like this? So there is a wrong way to go about it, I'd say. But I'd say anytime you're approached by anyone from the opposite sex and it's a positive, it always feels good, right, to your ego. But, and it's also anytime you approach someone on a cold approach, it's clarity, right? Someone's going to show that they like you or they don't like you. They're going to play games or not play games, or they're going to be straightforward or not be straightforward, but you're going to find out. I think that a lot of things have changed with the cold approach, though, with texting and online apps. More people are kind of like, what? They're going to talk to me? Craig Kenneth. Sorry, guys. Lost my place again. Oh, Sandman is a channel, hugely popular. Okay, thanks for clarifying that. I wasn't aware. But I know I should step outside my comfort zone. I'm sorry. So. Sorry to try and. God, I lost my fucking place. We got a lot of shit going on here. Dude. I'm way behind, guys. When women approach, I would say most guys are okay with it. All right. Rob, Craig Kenneth, I do remember coming across a few of his vids as soon as I started looking for advice. Cool, it's helpful. I think many opinions from various channels. Right, Rob. Some people ask me who do I back up? That's just a preference thing. It doesn't mean they're better. Sometimes some people like some people, and I'm like, that wouldn't be who I want. I think we tend to like the people that we think we'd have a rapport with, that would have a cool conversation with. Because the people I do live coachings with, Nike One, we've had a lot. I mean, afterwards, it's like we're buddies. It's like we have a good connect. I've always had a good connection with people. So, dude, my ex moved into my place and let her daughter move to her father's, and regretted it 3 years later. That's not usual. Well, I have a close family member that had something similar in that case, and it was bad. But at the end of the day, her being the mother, that's her decision to make, and she's going to have to live with it wherever it heads. My experience, don't date single moms. Okay. That's your experience. Like I said, the big part of it is the responsibility towards that kid eventually, and you're sharing her with her child. Like, you're sharing a level of love with someone that's not your kid. So as shallow as it sounds, you need to like the kid. You need to like hanging out with the kid. And if you think like I said, a friend of mine was just like, he's annoying, he's this, and they used to make fun of him and stuff. I'm like, dude, that's totally unfair. What about MILFs, Alejandro? Because to me, a MILF means they're hot, right? What's he like, Rob? That's why my personal experience, don't do it. Fair enough. He's a photographer at weddings, normal guy in person, very articulate and very smart. I don't know a lot about him since we only had a brief meeting. Okay. I've been studying life and relationship coaching for many years now, and most people's situations are similar, but sometimes they're very different situations. Sandman seems okay. Edward, same, 7+ years for me. All the channels are helpful. It's great community. Sweet. Like I said, if you don't like one, then just don't watch it. I'll always be a fan of your Mac as long as I keep with the vids. Hopefully next live stream I'll be the first on deck, but it depends on the timing. At the moment, what's the time over there we're about to live? It is 12:20 p.m. I have no idea how Sandman has the kind of knowledge that he speaks of. He's quite the Renaissance man. Okay, 310, Tazzy. Yes, if we show the attraction is mutual, I'd rather have the guy approach me. Okay? I'm just telling you, as a guy, I don't think you're out of line or you're coming off in a bad way if you step up some of your showing of interest, whether that's subtle or not subtle. Chances are, Rob, that he is happy in a relationship. Not sure. He says he isn't. It's easy to be cocky when you're bagged in. Sandman is a channel hugely popular. But I now should step outside my comfort zone and approach since I never have. If you like him, you're interested, you're single. If you approach, you say, hey, whatever a conversation starter, what do you have to lose? I just talked to someone else about this, and they did the same. They did it. There's one other that is brutal as fuck. Okay, probably too brutal because I think he is really pissed off still to this day. Johnny MGTOW. I'm not familiar with him. We both tried. George Bruno's pretty cool. I've come across his channel. We both tried that situation casually. It doesn't work. It always turns into something more with us. And I didn't set a date. I felt she needs to because only she knows where her situation is with. I agree. Nike one. Correct. First time I saw masculine energy was when I Googled one of Corey Wayne's key phrases, the best way to get someone's attention is to remove yours. Up came copycat video. Okay. When I first started watching Corey, it was $100 per hour. You want to on move crisply and swiftly. Where's your power? That speaks volumes. Yeah. Where's your power is right. Someone else was saying that I should make a t-shirt with that. Where's your power? No one is dogging single parents. I would say being aware of the pitfalls when dating in that dynamic is a part of a knowledge to avoid future issues, not to say it doesn't work sometimes. Okay, study guidance is still enough. We're almost at an hour and a half. We shared 3 years of a relationship I loved so much that I had forgiven her for every mistake from lying to cheating. That's why she took me for granted and she acts bitchy. If she lied and cheated, you should be moving on, my friend. That's your clarity. What kind of relationship are you chasing? You know, making her feel lonely or nostalgia, and you're saying, I love so much that I've forgiven her for every mistake from lying to cheating. Have you really forgiven her? I mean, really? That's why she took me for granted and she acts bitchy. If she acts bitchy and she's taking you for granted, that's not someone you want to be in a long-term relationship with, period. Done. No one is dogging single parents. I would say being aware of, okay, we've seen this. Now she left me, what should I do? Move on? If she took you for granted and she's being bitchy, then be thankful that you're single again. That doesn't sound like an ideal situation. It doesn't sound like it's getting any better. If a woman's being bitchy with you, she's not happy with you. Mac, why is it so hard for people to compare themselves to their ex new partner when they shouldn't? Good question. Good question. You know what? I've never had trouble with that because I just took myself out of the position of knowing or seeing a picture of the person that they're with. I haven't really dug on that, so that hasn't been a big issue for me. But I imagine I was just watching Silver Linings Playbook on the plane. Fucking outstanding movie. I hadn't seen it in years, and I just watched it one more time. And this guy walks in on his wife was, some guy in the shower, beats the hell out of her. But I mean, I think that women tend to compare more than men, but I could be wrong. And I think that women are generally in more competition with each other. I think that women look other women up and down more often when they walk in the room. I mean, girlfriends that I've had, when their friends come over, they look them up and down. When we're guys, we don't look at what our buddies are wearing. Like, what the fuck? Why are you wearing that? Women will be like, go back in their room, and they'll come back from the night and they'll be like, oh, Jackie was getting hit on all night. I can't believe it, what she was wearing. I mean, they're more in competition. So I think for women, it's more of an issue. I think it's natural. And it makes you feel better if you feel like you look better, because probably that's what you're mostly going on, unless you know more information. But it comes down to what you value, AET. So if you value looks, if you think you're a beautiful woman or you're insecure about your beauty, and you're measuring up against his new partner or someone he's seeing, then you're probably putting too much weight on that. But the best way to approach that is to not know about it or to stay away from it. But the idea of I think that it's a natural thing to compare yourself when an ex gets with someone else. How far you take that is another thing. How far you obsess with that is another thing. Initially, you hear about something, you're like, You know, like for example, as a guy, I think a lot of times, especially in the States, it would be like, if you're in your 30s like me, it's going to be, what kind of job does he have? It's not going to be, you know, is he a personal trainer? It's going to be like, oh, he makes 200 grand a year. Now I know why. Oh, what kind? Like, I think that's usually the first question when guys get in their 30s. Like, what does he do? Right. So I think for women, it's more about how does she look, and those are things that are, if you will, just one of the buckets of attraction at work. Yeah, Coach Mac, we had a good live chat and was like talking with my good buddy. Yeah, it was that fucking outstanding chat, bud. Outstanding. I liked her kid. She was 14, so not so much a kid. She was as I am shy. We got on well, but my ex just wanted her own house again. It's not like she didn't like being with me. It's just that she bailed. That was her choice and her responsibility, and you know, that's on her. Some MGTOW guys are just too angry. Yep. Okay. I just skipped through. Got a lot of comments today. My recent ex has 2 kids, and we hit it off. Her kids fell in love with me, and I had a good connection with them. Rather than come to my house, then go with their dad. I mean, that's the thing. Like I said, but beyond just having a good connection and making an effort, you have to like hanging out with them, right? It's different than when you're a parent and you just have unconditional love, or when you're an uncle and you've known them since they're a baby. When you meet a kid at like 8 years old, 9 years old, 14 is a tough age any way you dice it. You got to be able to be like, oh, I like the kid. Or like, oh, the kid's a little brat, you know, he's a little animal, whatever. That's going to affect your relationship if you have an immediate viewpoint like that. Cool, it works sometimes. When it does work, that's a great thing. New t-shirts, bucket. Okay, fill your buckets. I don't know. I have this theory that I was cocky as fuck when I was with my ex, even after seeing the life coaches. But when you are on your own, it's a different ball game. That's a brilliant theory, Edward. Keep them coming. I may be wrong, but I get the feeling that men are, even women that are with someone, are now way more cocky because they have what they need. Yeah, I mean, until you're alone, you know, your balloon gets popped, you know, more than once in your life, whether that's career, whether that's relationship, right? I mean, everyone has moments where they're walking high, flying high, feeling really good, and it's like, right? We make plans and God laughs. That's a proverb that's out there. But I mean, everything evens out sometimes in my life. I know that. I know I've been a cocky fucker at different times in my life. And when I say that, I don't mean looking back, you just take things for granted and you're riding high on things sometimes. And you know, debating what's the difference between cocky, arrogant, and confidence, you know. You know, if we could videotape ourselves, we'd be really surprised by the way we act. I'm just saying it's maturity related. If you're in your 20s, single parents are rare. If you get into 40s and 50s, almost every option is a single parent. Judy Jack, that depends on the area, I think, actually. Depends on the area for sure. It does sometimes, but tread lightly, because I mean, there's a lot of people in their 40s that don't have kids. I'm 38, I don't have kids. It does sometimes, but tread lightly, because she still has the attachment with that man, reason why she's now my ex who contacts me once a month. So true. You get older, the chances are that anyone you meet already has kids. Really? You feel that way? I'm losing track here. So true. When you get older, chances are, okay, never compare yourself to your replacement. It's irrelevant to who you are as a man. 30s, yep, I was a good drug dealer back then. I blocked my ex, so I'm clueless about him, and I don't want to know what the hell he's doing and who he's with. Good for you. I just always hear girls comparing themselves to other girls. That's what I mean. I think that's done even without having an ex. Am I right? But you're absolutely right. Don't be in a position to know what the hell is up. Yeah, and if you do catch, a friend says something, you're just like, I don't want to hear it. Or you do come across a picture, you don't revisit the picture over and over again. You don't want to know. But like I said, girls comparing themselves to other girls, I think that's a natural thing. I think girls are in competition that way. And it's generally more based on looks when they're comparing themselves more than other things, where men probably compare themselves, if they do, to status and what someone does or how much money they make. This depends on cultures too. Different cultures are different. AAT, my ex did the same to me. Not because she hates me, just because she does not want to see my Facebook or YouTube channel. Edward, your ex compared herself to your new girl? Okay, I see. Yeah, block all channels to save your mental health. That's what I would do. That's what I've done in the past. When my recent ex's ex-husband found out about me, she was asking all kinds of stuff about me, just showed me the insecurities as a man. When my recent ex's ex-husband found out about me, he was asking all the kinds of stuff about me. Well, I mean, that was fresh too. Like they had just broken up. And from what I understand, and like I said, I'm not a parent, but guys have a big fucking deal with who's this guy being around my kids. That's a big one. Shit, I remember when I used to play basketball at the YMCA. I mean, we had this run where it was a mixed group. It was like 18 to guys in their late 40s playing basketball, king of the court. We all knew each other off and on. And some dude's kid ran on the court, and got in the way. And someone was like, hey, get off the court. And the guy didn't even fucking yell at him that bad or anything. And somebody ran up and was like, don't you ever fucking talk to my kid like that. That's my son. Da, da, da. People are real funny about who's around their kids. And so I think a lot of that Nike one, like, it's not just you and getting compared. It's the fact that you're around someone else's kids. And I'm not going to validate it or not validate it, but it's an absolute reality that people get very, very territorial about who's around their kids. So that's something that I've witnessed time and time again. So as soon as some guy, I remember a good friend of mine, he had a kid with his, longtime girlfriend, ex-fiance, whatever. She ends up getting with a guy, years later, that was pretty wealthy, well off. And they would be at Little League games, and my buddy just fucking hated the guy. And the guy seemed like a nice guy, but I mean, it's different. It's his kid, the guy would buy him jerseys for the football team he liked and different things. I think it's beyond just being jealous. It's like, those are my kids. Actually, no, she was always jealous about my exes, even though she was a nurse and kind. She always felt that she was not in the same league. Well, that's insecurity 101, right? I enjoyed those kids 100%. Would be expected of them if it would be worked long term. Jesus, there's a lot of comments today, guys. I'm losing my. We're all unique and special. No need to make comparisons. Comparison is the thief of joy. I am MGTOW. Good for you, Edward. My ex only blocked me because I did something stupid. I said to myself over and over, "It will backfire. I did it badly, so it's my own fault. Live and learn. Sick of having my heart broken." Well, what's your role in the matter? If it's a repeated pattern, Headwork, you're going on your way, staying out of girls now. Yep. How long have you been single? Not cocky, coach, confident. 2 years. Wow, you are feeling good about it. Even though I have a major fan club with the band thing. Okay. I'm sick of it. So you're absolutely not talking to anyone as in romantically. I talk to everyone I love, owning people. Yeah, looking into their eyes and smiling. Damn, I've been single for over a year now, and I like my freedom of not having to answer to anyone and live my life. Well, there you go. There's a silver lining right there. I think, and here's the thing, with life experience, there's a time and a place for everything. Sometimes you're like, wow, this really suits me right now. I think this has been a gift to me. I can get back to making my music. I believe Facebook and Instagram are worse for getting about your ex. It does help you to move on. If you don't want to delete the app from your phone, you will become a monk at the end. Excellent. What kind of music do you, okay, that's between you guys. I've never been the one to compare myself to another man. Shouldn't be jealous. That's a female trait. One thing I know I've always stayed away from is a little itch there. Is when I'm with a girlfriend and she mentions her ex, I won't go and be like, oh yeah, he did that to you or this or that. I won't down talk the guy because I don't know him. I think that's a weak thing to do. I've had that with one ex before, one girlfriend. She'd talk about her ex a lot because they had a long relationship and they had some problems. And I would never like pile it on, like, yeah, he was an asshole. I can't believe he did that. I'd be like, all right. It's like in my head, I'm like, why'd you stay with him for so long then? But I'm not going to talk shit about someone I've never met before. I don't really know. Ann is in the past. He was just mad that his kids liked me more than they did him. Real talk, everyone was saying it. Okay, being single for a while allows me to be discerning of what I want in a guy. Absolutely. Yeah, you recalibrate and you really figure out what you're looking for. I agree 100%. Not what you're looking for in a guy, but looking at it for a partner. I've done when I've been single before, when you're just like, all right, let me reassess what I really want, and I end up with someone that better suits me in the next relationship. I have 2 female counselors that come around every week, and I love looking them in the eyes. It cracks me up inside. I would love to have a guy that isn't afraid to be alone and can deal with the things in a healthy way and not want to jump from relationship to relationship. Well, that narrows it down. AET. It's not exactly questions you can ask in the beginning of seeing someone, is it? All right, folks. I wasn't planning on doing it for this long, but this has been a fucking great session. Thanks for joining. I really appreciate it. Thanks for the likes up there. I appreciate that. Cheers, lads. Any direct closing questions? We've had a lot of interaction between you guys today. That's good, man. I really appreciate that. It's nice. Get a group that's getting to know each other here. Their ex a lot. Someone new, good or bad, it gives the impression that they are not over them. It's a turn off. Yeah, it would definitely show that they're not over them completely, or there's something about that relationship they're still wounded about. Yeah, absolutely, Judy Jack. Don't know what that means. Sub to me. I have a closer. I don't know what that means, Edward. Nate, can you do a topic on when do you know you are a rebound? Done. I would love to be Mr. Closer. What would it mean to be Mr. Closer? I don't know. When do you know you are a rebound? I'll put that on the list. I might do it tomorrow. AT. Not at the same time though. Do you know you are a rebound? Short answer, if you have to ask, there might be some truth there. Closing statement. I see better with eyes closed, with my eyes closed. It doesn't make sense to me. I see better with my eyes open. Does that mean I see better with my eyes closed that you see with your ears? You're welcome, AET. Any closing question, folks? Another 10 minutes here. Perhaps. Well. Perhaps. Like tricky out of plastic, huh? What's your favorite Thai dish? Favorite Thai food? It's funny because people think I eat it every day and I don't. Where I live, there's a lot of Western food. I just had eggs, bacon, and what is it? Yogurt, like yogurt parfait this morning. Thai food would probably be. I'm trying to think because there's a few different things I like. Probably cow soy. I don't know if you know what that is. I don't know if I spelled that correctly. Actually, I should. Cow soy I really like. That's nice. And I like red curry usually. I like hot food. Ask them at the Thai restaurant. It's northern Thailand. I don't see it in a lot of Thai restaurants in America. Thai food in America is not hot, not as nearly as hot or spicy, and it's sweeter, and it's probably healthier. It's probably healthier actually. Mango sticky rice is freaking mango sticky rice I can eat like a dog, which means I can't stop eating it. Pineapple fried rice, pad thai, those are you come across those all the time. When I first was here, I was like all over that. Yeah, it's good. What was your favorite part of visiting California? Spending time with my parents, as simple as that sounds. I have a good relationship with my parents right now, so just keep these going, Coach. You are out here doing good work for some people. Much appreciated, Edward. Mango sticky rice it's funny because I kind of take stuff like this for granted. I eat it all the time, you know. But the food in Thailand is good. But the funny thing is, like where I live, you can get any kind of Western food. The Western food is really, really good because they have a lot of Europeans out here. Like there's 2 or 3 French bakeries that are like owned by French people. They're not just a French bakery. I find that the food's better. You know what's nasty about going home is the amount of fast food places. It's just like in the cookie cutter restaurants that are all over. But yeah, living here, I definitely like spicy and hot food. I never liked it before. There's a bomb Thai place I went to go in Hayward. And Hayward, I thought you were in San Diego. Hayward from San Diego. Oh, when you used to live in the Bay Area. Yeah, the few times, I mean, it's just so much more expensive too, man. It's just crazy how much more expensive it is than here. I mean, expensive here is getting like a big plate of pad thai for like $5 or $4. It is an amazing place. The Bay, you mean San Francisco? Hopefully my ex, I mean, in your band head work, did you travel? Did you get to go to San Francisco and play sets? Just curious. Why do you keep saying San Fran? Is that like your inside joke? Because you asked, can I call it San Fran? I love the Bay. Been there many times too. Okay, cool, man. Man, if you played in the Bay, that's pretty big time, dude. Yeah, I like the Bay too, but now living abroad, I mean, it's kind of fucking expensive. I mean, if I was gonna pay the prices to live in the Bay, I'd much rather live in San Diego. Haven't been to Bali. I actually have someone that was a client that moved there. Really? I don't fucking care if you call it San Fran. That's funny. Dude, it's ridiculous. I grew up in the Bay. I didn't grow up in San Francisco, but I grew up like 10 minutes away, right near the airport. And it's just, that area is expensive as hell. It's just, and I mean, it's nice, but like I said, I'd rather live in San Diego where the weather's nicer. How much longer are you going to be live for? 10 minutes. I think I've only been to St. Louis. Like if it keeps going strong, I sometimes will keep going. But Mac, why do we cling to good memories? Because it takes us to a place of euphoria. I think that's in the individual AET, and it's in the individual, and it's the individual memory is different too. But I would say clinging to really good memories, or because you're using the word cling, means that you're not making memories right now, and you're at a place right now that's a little bit empty, or like I said, buckets with headwork, which headwork gave me shit for the term, but you know what I mean by having different buckets, meaning like your spiritual bucket, your financial bucket. You seem like you're in a pretty good place, AUT, but I'm saying that I think if you're clinging to it, you don't really have a replacement memory where, how should I say this in a different way than just in a relationship? So if you've been single the whole year, you haven't really got in a new relationship and started a new set of memories in a romantic way. So of course you're going to think about the last ones, right? It's like let's say you moved, like I think you said, I'm pretty sure AT, you live in San Diego, and you had to move to, I don't know, Wisconsin. You're freezing your ass off, and you move there, and you're like, oh my God, all I can think about is how beautiful San Diego was now and how much I appreciate living there. Until you move back to a warm weather climate on the beach again, you're going to be thinking about that over and over again. So that's why I mentioned the replacement or the environment you're in. I've only been to St. Louis. I thought you said you were in San Francisco. I've never been to St. Louis, home of Budweiser. San Fran is quite cold at various times. Yes, San Diego, the Mexican food best there is. Roberto's over in Mission Beach, we used to call it Regrettos. That was real fast food, man. That one wasn't good, but Old Town had the good Mexican food, and there's a couple places in PB. The Bay Area had good places to eat Mexican. Mexican food is my favorite food. You'd think it would be Thai, but it's not. Mexican, like when I go home, you know what I hit up is the taco trucks, street tacos, cilantro, onions. Now I'm getting hungry. The little ones with the fresh tortillas. I'm even surprised they even let me in the USA in 2002. We can teach you English. Oh, God. I'm a bud. San Fran, average single family home is $1.5 million in rent. Dude, it's crap. And I was a real estate agent right before the boom. Isn't that funny? That's funny. I missed it, huh? It's crazy though. It's like one of those things. Everyone's making big money, but the cost of living so much, it's relative. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. I'm very happy with where I live. I know. I think he owned it. Well, he says he owned an agency, but yeah, there is some similarities in some of his story. I haven't watched the amount of videos that some other people have watched. I've certainly watched some of his videos, but yeah, there's some similarities there. Yeah. I was at a point where I was just like, dude, I want to get out of here. Yep. Definitely got a few different jobs. Any closing questions here, folks? This has been a really good session. Really good session. Suppose it's a pretty good time because it's at night for a lot of people in the States. I'm not sure what time it is for you, Headwork. I think you guys are behind. What is it with realtors and life coaching? I don't know, but I will say this. When I was home, I went to a couple of open houses. I don't know if they do open houses in the UK, but and it's just funny. One of the things I didn't like when I was in real estate is the people that are so fake. I'm not talking about everyone, but you know, hey, how are you doing today? Just want to tell you it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. There's a 2-car garage. I was really good at open houses, though. I mean, because people said the same thing about me now, that I was genuine and honest. So, and I'd sit there and have a conversation for two hours with someone. If it don't have roaches in the place, it ain't good. You are Corey. I'm going to have to set this fucker up to have to. While I'm out, man, I can't wait till next live stream. Please feel free to call me JB next time, short for okay, JB. No problem, JB. What is moving on? Staying single or getting other women? What is it to you? I would say, or to wait for her to reach out. It definitely isn't for her to. It isn't for you. Little rewind. It definitely isn't for you to wait for her to reach out. That's weak and needy. And if it doesn't work out, you just wasted a whole lot of time, and you're probably going to keep coming back to ground zero. So moving, I wouldn't say staying single. What I would say is, number one thing you can do, study guidance, listen closely to this. Everyone goes, find your purpose, exercise. When you're moving forward, those things are paramount. Finding your purpose, finding things. Find ways that you could do some things that weren't possible, that excite you, that make you think like, that would be really fucking cool to do, right? And then go, wait a minute, all right, so like, I've always wanted to go to this country and see this beach. I'll set that up and go, oh, I don't have enough money now. Save up, do that. Have some things to look forward to that have nothing to do with your ex. You know, some people, Daniel that was earlier on the live stream, he said he poured his life into school and the gym. Okay, has nothing to do with his ex, but it improves him. Or have some kind of thing out there that you are working on yourself and working towards something that excites you that has nothing to do with your ex. That's the number one, you know, have something else out there. If you have a job you don't like right now, find a new job, right? If you're having trouble meeting new friends in your area, go out of your way to meet some new people. Work on the other areas of your life, put more time and energy into that. And then as you get happier and happier with that, women will come to you. I'm not saying they're going to throw themselves at you, but the opportunities will be there. But laying around and waiting for her to reach out, and she considered you, she was bitchy at the end, and if I remember this correct, she was bitchy and she took you for granted. What are you waiting for? What are you actually waiting for? For a girlfriend that was bitchy at the end, that cheated on you before, I believe you said, and took you for granted. Come on, man. If you're listening to my channel, you're fucking better than that. I'm wondering, who will coach who? What do you mean with Corey Wayne? It would be cool to have Corey Wayne and have an interview and talk to him. My team lost last night, taught him, so I'm in this downer, but sport is just sport. Great advice. Moving on is the best option. I lost 3 months thinking living in the what if is not healthy. I'm happy moving on. I love listening to live streams for future relationships. Yeah, and I mean, that's the thing. Like I said, the idea that you're obsessed and caught up with getting your eggs and making the right moves, you're really neglecting the other areas of your life. And by taking care of those other areas of your life, when the time comes and you do meet someone else, you'll be in a position to fucking take advantage of the situation and move forward. Obsession over an ex is a bad thing. Obsession with music or something like that, I don't know if it's always bad, because it can lead to greatness, right? Any closing question, folks? These glasses do help with the lights. Thinking about, I would have the session outside, but I don't know if the sound's good because it's beautiful outside. It's a bit hot though. Put it this way, I know the girls I have seen with that are not so nice, and the ones that are. Thanks for the advice. I was confused. Well, I hope that helped, bud. Never wait for them to reach out. Keep it moving, and they'll find a way to resurface. Trust me, be someone that was unforgettable, and they'll resurface. Right? Relationship advice is adding to your learning bank. It is. It is. The worst breakup I've had, the most powerful one I had, if I would have stayed in that relationship, it was going to end eventually. Bad relationships where you broke up, if you didn't break up when you broke up, it was coming. Most of the time, about 80 to 90% of the time. If it didn't happen then, it was coming. And the problems generally were never going to get fixed that were bothering you when you broke up. The only obsession that's good is the one that's good for your mental health. I love this channel because it's a way of socializing. Cool. All right, folks, we just came up on 2 hours. It's been a pleasure. I'll be back on deck tomorrow. I'm not sure about the exact time. When you get in a better place mentally, women and opportunities will throw themselves at you. Yeah, I mean, I don't like to say throw themselves at you, but yeah, when you start getting momentum in other areas of your life, you'll be like, oh shit, this woman approached me. Oh shit, wow, you know, like things come in bunches, and it's not by mistake. Later, Mr. San Fran. Later, Edward. Guess who just texted me right now, the long term? Well, you're on deck. Spin some plates, sir. Spin some plates. Enjoy the ride and keep them spinning, right? You got some options right now, Nike, and you're not attached to one of them. You got different things going on. It's a good place to be in. A really good place to be in. See you, Matt. Good chat. You too, AT. Hope the lab's doing well. Keep the balance. All right, folks. It's got to end at some point, so I'm going to end it right now. Light.